Greetings and good day to you. I'm Dave Householder, and I am blessed to be your Bible teacher here on the World Wide Well. Today we're going to be looking at forgiveness. Now, forgiveness sounds like one of those things our parents tried to make us do, to forgive other people, and if we forgave them or said we forgive you, then somehow it gets better. Very often it comes at the end of an argument where somebody's done something bad to someone else or said something bad. And at the end, the whole idea is you're supposed to shake hands and forgive each other and say, I forgive you. And somehow if you say those things, it's better. But the truth is, forgiveness isn't just speaking the words. Forgiveness is letting go of the toxicity that comes with unforgiveness. Now, Jesus was so full of grace all the time. He was just so gentle with people who had problems, people who made mistakes. But he was a hardliner when it came to unforgiveness. And Peter, the rock, came to him, one of his top three guys, and asked, how often should I forgive somebody if they sin against me? 7 times? And Jesus says 70 times 7 or 77. We're not sure from the original language exactly how that fits together, but lots, pretty much infinite amounts of time. And then he tells a parable. And a parable is sort of theater of the mind, where he creates this sort of playhouse in your mind. And brilliant teaching how he does that. When you hear these parables, you remember them for the rest of your life because they're so vivid and they're so visual. And basically, a very, very important person forgives someone of a debt. And that person begs for forgiveness, and the important person grants it. And then the person in the middle looks down at someone else who owes him something, and he comes down hard on him and doesn't forgive the debt. And then the really wealthy person, there's the wealthy, middle of the road, and bottom. And the really wealthy person hears what the middle person did to the bottom person, and he comes around and says, hey, I'm throwing you in debtor's prison, and you're in big trouble. And Jesus says, that's what my Father will do to all of you if you don't forgive your neighbor. Now, that's a warning. It's a very stern warning. So why is Jesus so serious about forgiveness? Because unless we let go of forgiveness, we attract bad stuff, bad juju, dark stuff, even demons, if you're able to hear a word like that. In my experience as a pastor over decades and decades, basically what I've seen is that dark forces, demons, bad stuff, whatever you want to call it, tends to feed on unforgiveness. So if we have unforgiveness in our heart, it's like flies to garbage. They feed off of it. And it's so important to get that out of ourselves, to cleanse ourselves of unforgiveness so that we don't attract that bad stuff. You see, Jesus is a hardliner about forgiveness, not because he's a legalist or some super stern tiger parent or something. It's because he doesn't want us to be carrying around that toxic stuff that draws bad stuff. Resentment, bitterness, unforgiveness, they're all kind of the same family. And they attract all kinds of evil stuff into our lives. In fact, when I go pray with people who feel like they're being oppressed by dark forces, I often go right after the idea of unforgiveness. Is there someone that he or she has not forgiven? And that can include himself or herself. It is so important to let things go. Now, that doesn't mean you need to trust people who hurt you. It doesn't mean you need to let abusers back into your house. It doesn't mean you can't have any boundaries. Forgiveness has nothing to do with any of those things. There's really 3 levels of forgiveness. The first one is forgiveness, which is required. Just no matter what someone does to you, you have to do it. Well, I'm going to forgive, but I'm not going to forget. You better let it go. And if you're saying I'm going to forgive and not forget, just so you can hang on to a little bit of that, it's going to draw bad stuff. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. I understand maybe you won't be able to forget it, but the more you think about it, the more you remember it, the more you're going to bring it back to life, and it has a way of coming back, like a weed, like dandelions. Get rid of it. Let it go, as they said on Frozen, one of those movies I've never seen, but I've heard people imitating some song from time to time. So forgiveness is the first layer, and it is absolutely 100% required. The second layer is reconciliation. Reconciling with someone is not the same as forgiveness. You can forgive someone and not be reconciled to him or her. Reconciliation, you see, you have no control over that. You can attempt reconciliation, and the Bible encourages us to do that. If you've got a gift on the altar and you're not at peace with somebody, go talk to them And in Matthew 18:15, it says, talk to people personally, try to clear the air a little bit. But the truth is, the person could reject you, and that's not your fault. It's not your fault to be abandoned or rejected. That you have no control over. So you can give that a shot, but it also is 50% the other person, reconciliation. And the third layer is trust. And trust is something which is entirely up to the other person. You can forgive someone, you can reconcile with someone, you can shake hands and say, okay, we're going to put this behind us and restore our relationship. That's level 2. Level 3 is trusting the person. And that's not your problem. It's up to the other person who's hurt you to earn back that trust. Let's say somebody breaks into your house and, it steals things. Now, let's say it's a friend of yours. And let's say you're pretty upset about that, but you let it go. You forgive. That's level 1. That's required of everyone. That's what Jesus is talking about here in Matthew 18. But this is such a good friendship that you want to reconcile. And so you get together, you go out for coffee, and you say, listen, why did you break into my house? Can we work through this? And you end up, he apologizes, she apologizes, and you shake hands, and let's restore our friendship. Okay, that's level 2. Level 3, you still don't have to give the person the key to the house until they show you after a few months that they're trustworthy. It's up to them to earn back that trust. So trust is different than reconciliation, is different than forgiveness. That's why there's 3 different words for it. And it's so important that we look at the first level, which is forgiveness, which is absolutely essential, absolutely required, or you're going to have bad stuff following you the rest of your life. So get rid of that stuff. Pray to forgive other people and ask the Lord to help you forgive people. And if you can't do it yourself, and to talk to other people about it, get it out and get that forgiveness done. Get that done and work on the other levels if you want to, but those are optional. First level is required. It's not an elective. That's the good news for today, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.